is where, if where you stand is reality, then your actions have power. Of course, he means something precisely about reality, no? It means if where you stand is awakened, then your actions have power. Therefore, if where you stand is reality, then your actions have power. Needless to say, leading brave heroes, commanding fierce warriors, routing powerful bandits, comforting the farmers, pacifying the nation, and assisting the work of restoring social harmony and cultural florence, all depend on this one revelation. I just thought it was interesting that he mentions all that, you know. This gives you a taste of certain influence that the governments, in this case, the emperor and or the shoguns, had in the Zen tradition, you know. Dogen very wisely wanted to get out of the big cities where all the power-possessing temples were. So to avoid being trapped in the bureaucracy of purple robes and national teachers and so on and so forth. So, and he had one of the, called in Japan, called Rinka monasteries, which are not the forest monasteries, so to speak, or mountain monasteries, that are not part of the establishment of the religious establishment of the Zen tradition. So what I want to read is something called Truth and Perception. And I might not read the whole thing. It's about 3 pages. The present perception, the present perception is the truth. But the truth is beyond this perception. If you're attached to perception, then this is perception. It is not arriving at the truth. Those who arrive at the truth transcend perception, but they manage to use perception without dwelling in perception. When you pass directly through perception and get free of it, it's all the fundamental truth. It might be a little bit convoluted for some of you. You know, perception is one of the 5 skandhas, the 5 aggregates that we recite in the Heart Sutra, that this aggregates, is the bundle of these aggregates that is what we call the self. Perception is one of them. So what he's saying, the present perception is truth. Yeah. And he used the term truth here, capitalize it. It's the awakened seeing, the awakened heart-mind. But the truth is beyond perception. And we know, we perceive things immediately, the mind automatically is going to do something with it. Catalog it and say, oh, that's a tree. That's a good perception, isn't it? The altar is right in front of me. It's a figure of Shakyamuni sitting. It's a figure of Manjushri sitting on a lion. There's a picture of Ivan Rand. There's a statue, a small statue of Kuan Yin. There's some flowers. And there's a candle burning. That's perception. He says, but that's not truth. If you're attached to perception, then this is a perception. It is not the arriving at the truth. That's why some of you have heard me say, today is Wednesday. Although that's not a perception in a certain way, I think. It's an idea. It's a naming of the days of the week so we can be organized, you know. But today is Wednesday is not the truth. Is this what today is? Oh yeah, it's Wednesday. Mm-hmm. That's what Yun Yuan Wu is talking about here. And I like what he says in this phrase, you know, in this paragraph. Those who arrive at truth transcend perception. We see directly, you know, when we practice the cultivation of attention, when we practice the single pointed meditation of, let's say, the breath or the koan mu, and we keep coming back just to this attention to that word, that sound, becoming intimate with just mu. You know, mu also has a meaning. Mu in Japanese means does not, or has not. It comes, you know, from the koan. Does a dog have Buddha nature or not? And Jojo says, does not. Mu. That's what it means. We get caught in that perception. We can't cross that gateless, that door without a gate, that gateless barrier. Those who arrive at truth transcend perception. When you are working with the koan, let's say, who is hearing, you perceive sounds. That's the truth. You perceive sounds, you know? I mean, that's what we call perception. If we get hooked on naming it, on defining it, we stop listening, we stop hearing, and we arrive at a conclusion. This is what he's pointing to here. Those who arrive at truth transcend perception, but they manage to use perception without dwelling in perception. When you pass directly through perception and get free of it, it is all a fundamental truth.